All right, and we are now live. Hi, I am Kira858, and today we're here for season two, episode two of Rivenwood Academy. Of course, here at the Cookout, we always like to give love and support to different individuals in the community. We like to shout out different channels so you can perhaps take a look at their content and support them on their endeavors. So first, as always, we love to give a huge shout out for is the Bear Pen run by Adrian B. He has his own Twitch as well as YouTube channel where you can find some of us listed there for shows such as Vampire the Masquerade. You will see Milcom Blues, which is a City of Mist campaign. You will see, I believe they have an upcoming werewolf campaign coming in the near future, and a bunch of other content. He is also seen on our Lords of Faerun campaign. Oh, looks like one of the boxes must have moved around, so something must have happened. But yes, nevertheless, yeah. So you see him on that on that channel. So definitely, if you can, go ahead and give them a follow and support them on their endeavors. Secondly, we would like to give a shout out for, of course, is Hutter's Entertainment. Hutter's Entertainment is a variety TTRPG channel, primarily dedicated to horror as well as sci-fi. You will see well-known individuals such as Melee Damage. You will see Michelle Young, Marquia Riccardi, and quite a few different individuals in their session. I think Cynthia Marie was actually on a few of their shows as well. They are a credible group. Alex Redeye, which you see as a tech producer, also in the Bear Pen, also runs tech producing under Hunters Entertainment. And they regularly sends out raids for us. It gives us support. So definitely, if you can, I think Alex is actually at GenCon, if I remember correctly. So hopefully, Alex, you're having a fun time there. And if so, like I said, definitely go ahead and give Hunters Entertainment a follow and support them on their endeavors. And last but certainly not least, we definitely would love to give a shout out for is Kids on Bikes. Kids on Bike is a show on the Pixel Circus featuring individuals such as Sharif Jackson from Rivals of Waterdeep. You'll see Hello There Shoe. You'll see Halpa Barbarian. And their season is just about to complete. There's only a couple episodes left remaining, and it's been an absolutely spectacular season. So definitely, if you can, that show starts on Thursdays at 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely, if you can, go ahead and give them a follow and support them on their endeavors. So those are the shout outs that we have for today. Of course, we would like to go forward with our announcements. Just a quick heads up, we will not be having Lords of Faerun for the next 2 weeks, just as I'm in the process of doing a move. So unfortunately, we will be doing some things there, but we should be back. Lords of Faerun will be back on October 2nd. So definitely look forward to see you all back from that hiatus there. We also, of course, have some new projects coming up in the near future, featuring a Mage the Ascension campaign, which is BDM by Reed, featuring TTRPG players such as Nerdy, who's actually currently in our cast. You'll see, Melee Damage. You'll see Aki. You'll see Super Dylan and a few other individuals. And those are going to be showing up exclusively on our YouTube channel. And as well, we also have another campaign coming up in the near future called Gods of Color, which features similar individuals. I will be DMing that campaign. And if you love Percy Jackson, you're going to love this campaign. And the features, of course, mainly Damage Nerdy is also in that campaign. You'll see Cynthia Marie, and you may see some guests from the TTRPG community featured in this campaign as well, especially on our first episode. So again, cannot wait to bring these projects to you. So they should be coming up starting in October. So keep an eye out on my Twitter, which is thekira858, or you can join us at our Discord, be able to see that content listed there. And so with that said, those are our announcements for today. We're going to go ahead and bring you our intro video for episode 2 of Rivenwood Academy.
You say episode 2. Season 2.
Micah. Ardris. Meaty. Helen. Otis. Behold the spellbinding abilities of Rivenwood Academy.
All right, and we are now back. So with that said, Aaron, take it away.
All right, guys, it's been an eventful few hours in the lives of our characters. Only about 4 hours ago, you were chilling on the beach, having a great time partying with your friends before Cataclysm struck. The school exploding from the superposition of the understudy and the academy proper. Lots and lots of chaos as you were led to an evacuation site in order to teleport out for meeting up with everyone later. There was a problem with the carved and chiseled teleport circle, and you ended up, well, you don't know where yet. You ended up in a forest. You had an unfortunate meeting with an envenomed gallows tree, which was not fun, I think, for anyone. And then that drove you to a road where you met two people, a middle-aged man named Thorraine, who was in a wheelchair, along with his wife, who was a taller woman. They appeared to be some blend of ranger and paladin. Both of them had symbols of, I forget who in the party recognized it, but it was the symbols of Paranon, the goddess of nature. So we ended with them talking to you and saying, hey, it's too late to go anywhere tonight, but if you want to take a rest and heal up from your trials and tribulations, we'll keep watch for you, and then we'll guide you to the nearest town. You can figure out where you are and figure out what's going on. And so we're going to start at you guys bedding down for the night.
Okay.
They gave you some really good food, like kind of road stew. You know, when Estelle realized that they were having 6 more people over very quickly, like made that, made more stew for everyone. Definitely no rabbits in the stew.
Better not be.
It started as like one of those stews you put everything in and quickly became like stone soup where there's a little bit of everything, but also a lot of nothing in it. But you guys had your fill of stew, and it is time for you to rest and prepare for the day. Does anyone have any last minute business before you fall asleep?
Think so.
Pretty satisfied with my spells, so I don't think I should meditate.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, I might re-prep some stuff actually.
Okay. Feel free. Micah.
Yes.
I almost called you Kira because your name is
Oh, my bad.
it's the wrong one on Zoom.
Wait, real quick.
Thank you. It's hard to juggle everyone's names all the time sometimes, so it does help me. Micah, your relationship with sleep is weird and different, right? Like you don't so much sleep as you power down for like 4 hours. You end up being aware of your surroundings, but stationary still, unbreathing and moving. Today, it is really, really difficult for you to settle enough to get into that power down state. Thorraine and Estelle kind of talk to you for a little bit and then realize that you are trying to do this weird, not trancy thing and leave you alone a little bit. You're aware of their presence. You're aware that they are taking watch very seriously. So they're routinely doing like a patrol around like the perimeter of where your camp is. They seem to have ways of monitoring further down the road so they know what's going on. It's difficult for you to settle in. You know, sometimes you would read, but the conditions really aren't right here in terms of like your paper will blow away, or your only light source is the fire. You'd have to get pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think I want to ask you, how's Micah feeling right now?
I would say Micah is very confused. He doesn't have any information at all about what's going on at his school or with his mother. And the only reason why he went across into the circle is with the idea that he was going to see her again on the other side, per se. And now that that's not an option, he's trying to figure out what this is mean, and more importantly, what is he supposed to do? I don't believe he was fully prepared for a circumstance like this, as he was still in school. He was never really exposed to the idea of like, hey, you may be gone away from your home for a long period of time. These are the steps you need to take in order to make sure you stay safe in the outside world. So I think he's tried to really gather everything that he learned from class to try to figure out what his next steps would be.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you spend some time sifting through those memories, kind of trying to piece together, you didn't take orienteering the class, or you didn't take nature or something like that. So like, you're not pulling directly on a class that taught you how to survive or something. But I mean, you did take, all of those party tricks classes with the offensive and defensive magics, they were constantly saying, what if you were in this situation? Or when they talked about it, when they talked about the different school of magics, it was always in context of like real world usage. So I think you're kind of pulling through that. And as you slowly kind of get through that, and you're feeling a little bit more confident in what you know, I think that gets you down deep enough that you're able to rest. But it does delay your rest a little bit. Like, you notice everyone crashes out pretty quick, especially the ones who were injured or poisoned. I would say probably Kellen is one of the first to drop off, just because he refused healing last time. So there's probably his body said, no, we're going to heal up right now. But everyone is, everyone drops off pretty quickly. You struggle longer. You're aware of your surroundings. And I would say that one other thing you notice through the night is when you've had sleepovers or when you've been out on missions with the group, Artris has kind of been your no sleep buddy. You know what I mean? Like, he also only has to trance 4 hours. You don't necessarily hang out, because I don't think that's your relationship, but you are sharing the space, or if you're in the dorms, you would hear him in the other room at least, so you know him around. This time, he doesn't move. Like, he must wake up at some point, because he doesn't need to sleep the whole 8 hours. He must stop trancing. But as far as you can tell, he just lies there like he was asleep. So you don't have that chance to talk to him to kind of process what's going on, even after you finish your rest.
Is it like a concerning factor, or does it just look like he's taking a little extra longer in his meditation state, per se?
I don't know what you would think about it. I think from your perspective, it looks like he just never stopped transing. Let me rephrase that. Go ahead. I will say that you have woken up. Make a quick perception check for me.
Okay. Oh, well, that ain't going to do well. That is a 9.
To you, it looks like he never stopped transing. It looks like he's in a long trance. Slowly sunrise. Is there anything you want to do for that weird 4 hours that you are awake?
I think after an hour or so in, if he doesn't wake up from his slumber, I think he would try to head over to head over to him just to verify that he's okay, he's breathing, and maybe he's just taking an extra longer sleep or something.
When you go towards him, he is lying there. His face is calm, but his eyes are open, and he's like looking up at the stars, and he doesn't really react to your presence. It doesn't seem like he can't see you or something. It seems, well, with a 9, he doesn't react to your presence. He's breathing fine. He doesn't seem to be injured or anything like that. He's just not up and about doing the things that he would normally do when he finishes shows.
Okay. So yeah, I think he's going to sit next to him and we'll wait for the others to wake up first before he presents his concerns. Present his concerns to the group.
Cool. So I think that Thoreen and Estelle are giving you a really wide berth now because like you went like statue for a bit, and now you're like gargoyle sitting next to the guy who should have been out of trance already. Like weird vibes. So I think like they're giving you space to like do whatever it is you guys are doing. Eventually the sun does rise. All of you can finish taking your long rest as you were not attacked or interrupted in the middle of the night. And as you all come to consciousness and wake up, you awake to some fresh fruit. They've already doused the campfire as the sun has risen because they know you're going to want to travel. So they've already been packing up, but they have some fresh fruit that they've chopped up so that anyone who wants to eat breakfast can enjoy.
Ooh.
And does Ardris wakes up during that time frame, or is he still in trance mode?
No, he sits up slowly as people are getting up. Like he sits up, he stands up. Ardris is a quiet dude, so it maybe takes a little while to realize he's being maybe extra quiet. But well, I don't want to tell you what Micah thinks or feels. But Micah has had some brushes with intense emotions lately. Like during the festival when he had that whole like imposed emotion, you've gone through quite a few things since then. I think make an insight check now that he's up and awake.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's that. That is the 8.
Emotions are still confusing for Micah.
Yes, extremely.
It's probably an emotion thing because you're not understanding what's going on.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense. And that's why he thinks to himself, oh, this is why I don't do emotions. And then he just keeps walking.
That was very eloquent from Micah.
Oh, yeah. Probably had something. Well, you probably thinking that.
No. Inside your head, you're probably way more eloquent than you are outside your head. That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Which could have interesting implications for the next time you use message. All right, so you have a few moments to kind of gather yourself. Again, Thoreen and Estelle are there. Thoreen turns to all of you and is like, take your time, do what you need to do, and then we'll head on up to this Junction. It's a little bit back the ways that you came, but I think that it's the closest place we can get here, and especially with the festival coming up, we're going to want to get off the road, and then you can figure out what you're doing next. He was introduced to Ardris as the adult of the group, so seeing Ardris in like this passive state, I think is worrying him a little bit, but he's trying not to show it.
If we're all awake, right?
Yes.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to lead us to the fork that heads to our next path?
Can I lead you to the fork? I'll take you all the way to this junction. We're actually heading that way anyway. We've been coming from the south, checking all of the barriers because during the festival we'll actually just close this road down. So we need to make sure that all of the I forget what you wizards call it. You got a fancy word for it. The barriers. Had to make sure they're powered up properly. There weren't any disruptions in the materials or whatever. I don't know. It's the actual mechanics behind it all are kind of way beyond me. But I am doing my best to serve my god and my nation in order to make sure that this place is kept safe while it's closed down to the festival.
He has keen mind, so I don't remember the direction that we came from, but he would point in the direction that we came from and ask if they've been that way before.
So basically, when you guys came out of the woods, you were coming from east to west. The path in this section runs north-south. So where they met you, they backtracked a little bit south to go to a campsite. And then now is going to head north with you. So you'll go past where you came out of the woods, and then you'll keep going north. And that's where the nearest town is, called Twist Junction.
Well, so he would continue to ask, though, like, are there any paths that way? Do they know if anyone's been checking them?
Well, as far as I know, I mean, not a lot of roads here in Philandern, but this is a main trade path because we're so close to Aresia and the Gorgon Empire. You know, it's a big trade path, basically. So it's one of the few roads, honestly. I haven't seen anyone travel around lately. Again, festival means people are starting to bed down and figure out where they're going to be for it. But we are, like, the whole reason we're coming through here is to make sure that no one's here for when we close the road. So we've been closing it basically behind us. We're not the only people out here doing this. I mean, it's a big road, but this is kind of our section as we get towards Twist Junction.
You said something about the festival. What does I don't know.
I mean, you got to know about St. Justicia, don't you?
Mary just looks at him.
My God.
We've heard the reference, but
all right.
Pay attention in class, I hope.
I certainly hope so as well. All right, there's a bunch of different festivals throughout the year. You know this, I know this. St. Justicia, in my opinion, best festival. It's also sort of like the start of our calendar year because this is when it's not exactly when the Accords got signed, however many years ago, but it is close enough. Like, it's kind of I tell you what, when we get to Twist Junction, every year they put on like a play that's kind of like the life of St. Justicia and like why we celebrate the festival. Maybe that'll give you a little bit more information.
Beery just like, a play? Oh, I loved whenever we were doing stuff with the circus, we would do like little plays and stuff. I love acting.
Otis goes, I hate acting.
I'd be kind of surprised if Mary hasn't at some point played St. Justicia in some way or fashion.
Yeah. Kellen would turn to Otis and just deadpan, we didn't ask you that.
You know what? You're right. Where's my fruit?
Weird times. This is the underworld. All right. So after you finish eating your fruit, as you're walking, you can keep asking all the questions you want. Every once in a while, they will stop and there will be like this oak wood kind of, you know, like the tiki torches you can get for your backyard. It's kind of like that, except for instead of like the candle in the middle and everything, there's some clear like holy magic going on here. And they're clearly checking these to make sure that these barriers that line both sides of the road are significantly powered, and that there's no one like they found you yesterday that is in the woods or nearby. So they will keep moving, and just every once in a while, it's like every 100 feet or something, check that these little driven stakes are properly maintained.
Someone will ask another question, because especially while Ardris is in his trance, he's kind of in worry about our safety mode. So he would ask what kind of power it would take for something to be able to break through these barriers, because he's suspicious that the thing that they encountered is of that power level.
Well, I think Thorane gives you kind of a long look as he's trying to suss out why this teenager, is like so interested in this. Because I don't think y'all really explained to them what you fought in the woods, per se. But he's like, well, here's the thing. About a decade ago, give or take, stuff just started to get a little weird around here. The animals that were normally pretty docile started kind of going out of their territorial ranges. There was weird migration patterns. Eventually, it built up to like attacking people on the road in ways that is not normal. It wasn't like people were in their path. They were seeking out this kind of violence. And the whole wood around here just got angry, corrupted. I don't know exactly what to say about it. But because there were so many attacks, that's why we created the Path Keepers, which is what we are, in order to watch over the travelers and keep this safe from that corrupting influence, whatever it is. I haven't seen anything ever break the barrier. Like, we maintain them because people might mess it up on this side, you know what I mean? Like, or wear and tear over time. I haven't seen anyone like, I haven't seen anything come out once we got this barrier up. I haven't seen anything even try, to be honest. I think that, Paranon bless us, I don't think that it wants to try because of the nature of the barrier itself. Again, that's all wizard stuff. I don't know exactly how that works, but she watches over us and we watch over travelers.
Right. And I'm willing to have faith in that. But, us wizards can be a little weird. So just follow me on this, thought experiment, right?
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. You're a wizard. I should have been watching my tongue maybe just a little bit more. That's some arcane stuff. Is that a better thing? I'm not trying to personally signal you out. I'm just saying, there's a general lack of understanding between the two disciplines, between divine magics and arcane magics, as to how the other works. And I don't have the fundamental basis to understand how your stuff works in terms of conceptualization, and also that kind of metacognition of understanding how to understand. You see what I'm saying? He gets real flustered, and as he does not shut up for a bit unless you interrupt him. He just goes on and on trying to make it better.
Otis just stares at Kellen.
He will wait through the whole time of him trying to make it better, and then just say, "No, I'm not offended. You were basically right." But anyway, follow me on this thought experiment. Let's say, this probably wouldn't happen because you both seem extra diligent and awesome, and we greatly appreciate your assistance. But let's say that such a thing could break through the barrier by some type of accumulation of large quantities of evil, and it having a net, and if you attack the net as a whole, you won't really make any progress. But if you snip one of the cords, it makes a bigger hole for you to sneak through. You know what I'm saying?
All right. I think I understand what you're saying. You're saying how weak are each of the individual boosters of this barrier, and what happens if one of them goes down?
Yeah, no, because that would be a suspicious question. I'm just saying, should something manage to break through one of those boosters, regardless of how much power it might take, whose responsibility might it be to, assess and deal with that threat?
That's definitely, I didn't think it was a suspicious question until you said so. And now, looking back upon it, it is a little bit suspicious, but I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt based on the curiosity that I think you're showing. And also the forgiveness you had for my own terrible slip up. So I do appreciate that. It's us, right? We're path keepers. If something gets on the path, we keep the path safe. That's what. Again, I want to reassure you, because you seem to be under the impression that there's only two of us for the path. There are many of us on the path. We just happen to be the ones here. And to my knowledge, despite the fact that the Pathkeepers have been around for about a decade, since the barrier's gone up, nothing's ever come out onto the path. I mean, we maintain it, and that is an important part of that process, I think, and why nothing's ever gotten out. I guess if something did, we'd all probably converge. There's the way these barriers are set up, and again, you'll forgive me. It's some of this is arcane stuff, I think. I mean, I bless them, don't get me wrong, and Padanon looks us over us all. But like, there's something in this that is not just, how do I put it? If something was to break through this barrier, I think there'd also be, we'd know it kind of thing. I'm not sure exactly what the symbol is, is it auditory or is it, I kind of imagine, when I think about it, I imagine like a pattern on the barrier, like maybe pointing you towards where there's a breach or egress. But I've never seen it happen. So I guess I'm taking that one on faith.
Right. Well, that all has been very enlightening. Thank you.
You know, honestly, I don't get a lot of people who are interested in what we're doing. It's more just the how, like, how are we going to safely get to the next place? And we just tell them, hey, you know, you're fine. We're mostly here as like moral support because like the path is safe, but it's kind of interesting.
I think that's one of the, and Kellen is like fully realizing he maybe shouldn't say this, but he'll go through with it and say, I think that's maybe one of those like differences that you were talking about earlier between the divine and the arcane. Like when it comes to the divine, something working for 10 years probably instills a renewed sense of faith, I would imagine, right?
I mean, yeah. It's never fallen.
For someone like me, it makes me more worried about when it's going to happen because it's been working without fail for so long.
Oh, I see. You're one of those pessimists.
Otis nods emphatically.
Miriam also nods.
There's just a Greek chorus of silent nodding in the background.
In a word, I suppose.
Well, I mean, it's something I'll think about. We after the festival, of course, we'll reopen the roads and everything, and we'll converge with our fellow pathkeepers because we don't stay to one section all the time just because we find fresh eyes, you know, helps keep you on the up and up. I'll pass it along that maybe we should think about getting a wizard to evaluate it, I guess. I don't know. Or a priest? Maybe both? Not really sure how you check for if your barrier that's never fallen might fall at some point in the future, but I suppose it's worth thinking about. You give me a lot to think on, Mr. I'm kind of realizing I don't remember your name.
It's Kellen.
Kellen. You may have told me. I'll be honest, last night was the most adventure we've had in a while, so maybe I just forgot.
Right.
Otis pipes up. I got a question.
Yes, sir.
You said you met people like me on the pad. Who are they? Where they from?
Did I say that?
Yeah, last episode.
When he said people like you, can you give me the context of what I said? So I need
like half orcs.
Half
orcs.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Oh no, man. This country is all, I mean, large orc and half orc populations. I would say the majority population is probably orc and half orc, and then there's human populations as well. A couple, when you get into Dolendor below, you're getting different like demographics, right? Like you got your drow, your deep gnome, your snurfligum, or whatever they call the Darrow and the Duragar. It's all, hey, there's even some humans down there. They're pretty interesting folk because they don't see sunlight, and that seems to be something humans need to be sane, but they do what they do, and cities down there are real impressive. But topside, yeah, whole lot of orcs. half orcs and I don't know, quarter orcs. I don't really understand how it goes from there.
While they're conversing, Kellen is going to try to walk over to where Miri is and give like her sleeve basically a bit of a tug to try to pull them far enough away to have a separate conversation, either by walking a bit ahead or by, falling behind a little bit.
We'll say you fall behind a little bit and Estelle falls yet further behind. So they want to make sure that no one is getting left behind. So Estelle's been kind of like the vanguard in the rear. Mm-hmm. And as she falls back, she realizes what you're trying to do and gives you that much more space, but is staying between you and the rest of the path. Otis, I am sending you a message.
Okay.
Miri.
Open. Yes.
So I know that Ardris didn't seem to want to bring it up last night, but are you also getting the feeling that I almost like slipped into your accent there for a second?
I know. I
heard that too. I was like, wait, what?
Are you also thinking that we should maybe perhaps like a little bit tell these people about the killer death tree with the things on it?
That probably was like the first thing that we should have told them when we came out. But
so at the time, I was thinking I didn't want it to interrupt us getting to where we need to go, but that's starting to feel a little bit on the selfish side now.
Maybe it's... I mean, they did kind of help us and all that. And I mean, you guys have like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. It went over my head, honestly. But
I would explain, but I think you might fall asleep.
I probably would, yeah.
Which would be dangerous because we're walking right now.
He becomes a sleepwalker.
I think we should tell them, because, I mean, you did say, like, what if something were to come out of the woods, break the barriers, and then it, like, eats everybody?
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't think they've really prepared for that, which is concerning me a bit more than anything else.
I mean, I think one of us mentioned it, and he didn't even, like, want to believe that it was a thing.
The tree?
Yeah.
DM clarification.
So
did we mention that in our notes? Because I was pretty sure we played it like real fast and loose with the whole there's like a death-eating tree thing.
Yeah, I think that you did not give any specifics. You were like, oh, like we were in the woods and it was scary, but you did not say also we are almost pulverized by this.
I remember us saying like, oh yeah, there was a tree. It tried to hurt us.
Oh yeah,
that was wacky. But
yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, you may have put it like that, and I did not write it down in my notes because that is sufficiently vague.
Okay.
So
I'll roll with it.
At this point, he has one other person kind of on board, and he's like, just so we're clear on the motivation that I'm not trying to leave anyone out, he's thinking it'll be real suspicious if he starts then going to whisper to Otis and then going to whisper to Micah and then going to whisper to Shy to get everybody's opinions. So at this point, he's just going to speak up and he's going to say, so we were all pretty freaked out last night. As you maybe noticed when we popped into the middle of nowhere and then started like running away from the corruption in the forest to like where it was safe and everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, I noticed something about, I mean, you said you were coming from somewhere, but you didn't give very clear, like, to my knowledge, there's nothing over there.
Right. So that's sort of the thing. You saw like how injured we were when we showed up, right? Like a few of us.
Yep. Offered healing and everything, and a few of you, and he looks at you, declined.
Right. So let's not worry about like tit for tat and all of that right now.
He's a bit stubborn. Don't worry.
So
I'm getting that opinion. Yes.
the thing is, it was not like animals or something that like did this to us. So here's the thing, and then I'm going to use keen mind to describe all of the details of what we witnessed and the battle that ensued. I kicked this tree when we shut up in the middle of nowhere, and it turns out that tree was a giant killer tree, and it was about approximately at least this tall. And had these things hanging off of it, and seemed able to deploy them. And I'll like use keen mind to recall as much of the details as like a reasonable actor could remember from it while being in the middle of a battle.
Mary?
As Kellen starts describing the like hanging bodies on there, she's like, yeah, they were like, like actually we'll start like
zombie form. We'll be zombie
like zombie shuffle.
I love that because you're basically going back into your troop job. Like someone's telling a story and you're accentuating it by like that's really great. I love that.
I also love that. Yeah. So I mean, I think you naturally kind of come to a halt in your walk as like the story gets more and more involved and Miri's acting gets more and more like in depth, and like Thorane and Estelle are both kind of enraptured by your story.
Otis will pipe in too. He'll talk about what the information he got from the trees on his way to the clearing.
Weirdly enough, that seems to be the part that they are most interested in. Like they hear about the gallows and the venoms, and they're like, "Oh man." I think Estelle's like, "That is strange." I mean, there are probably a lot of creatures in the woods that we don't know about, but definitely one to stay away from. And she pulls out, she doesn't have a map so much as she has like a sketch of the path itself. So it doesn't have like the features of like the nation or anything like that, but it's got like waypoints of towns and campsites. And like she makes a note where they picked you up and kind of gives like a little arrow. I don't think you can see necessarily what she writes down, but she's making notes about it. But when you start talking about how like, you know, when you spoke to the trees, there was like this fear and there's a lot of anger, and like, as you're talking about that, both of them like laser focus on you for a while, and they're listening really intently to what you have to say. You notice that Thorane kind of reaches up, his holy symbol is on a chain around his neck. He kind of reaches up and holds it as you're talking. And when you finish, there's kind of a moment where they're looking at each other, not saying anything. And then...
What?
Well, you've given us a lot to think about, Mr...
Otis.
I apologize. Okay, you're Otis. The other one is Ardris. You have kind of similar names, you have to realize.
First time I heard about it.
I thought that
You have...
tell them apart pretty well.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe, maybe it's just me. That's fine. If that's the kind of like character defamation we want to settle on, that's cool.
No, I get it.
Because Ardris is like really big, and then like he's got such a unique look. He's got like the skiing stuff. And
Ellen will gently remind him about the 5-minute long apology.
If Mary is actually saying that, Otis is going to hide his face.
she will actually say that.
All right. Points are taken from all sides. We can agree to disagree on this point. And just kind of move forward in a general northerly finishing this journey pattern. You notice as Thorane gets like kind of finishes up, he doesn't seem to have directly acknowledged what you've said. Like he's not like, all right, better call in the troops. However, you see Estelle, again, she's been like hanging back a little bit, appears to be calling forward an animal familiar to send a message back down the path. So you see like this large gray timber wolf that is comfortably like sitting at her side and then takes off south.
Wait, we all see the timber wolf?
You straight up do all see the timber wolf.
Are we still stopped when it comes, or have we started walking again?
You started walking, but like she's not like trying to hide it or anything. It's a timber wolf. Like you definitely see it. It's just behind you.
Yeah,
I would have seen it before in the biome.
Yeah, it's not particularly unusual
Okay.
in this area of the world. Like it's the right ecosystem for it.
Oh, we good. Okay.
It's just that, given that it is a timber wolf, Kellen will probably be like half unintentionally glancing backwards at it and drifting to be in between Micah and the timber wolf.
Yeah, that's super cute.
Yeah,
Because of a recent encounter with the wolf.
Yes, I was just about to say there's actually a few clocks that starts to appear around his head.
What are you talking about, Kellen? You weren't there.
Oh, that's true.
That wasn't Kellen.
That wasn't Kellen, though. Yeah, but there is a few clocks that appears around him as you see 3 wars just appear around his body as sort of a defense as he looks at the wolf.
I'm sure Jorhan told him about it, though.
Yeah.
Yep, sure did.
Definitely.
He definitely did.
She does not seem to. Neither of them seem to notice you're upset about the wolf.
Mm-hmm.
So, like this happens without any comment from them because they don't seem to notice that it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But you continue on forward, and it only takes you about until I'll say that you left fairly early. It's about noontime. When you get to the edge of kind of where this wood is. So the wood is built into a mountainside. So as you're moving, you're kind of moving parallel to, you can hear occasionally like a babbling brook, but you can't really see it because the trees are so dense here. But eventually, after about 6 hours of walking down the path, the trees do thin out a lot and you can see like the sides of the mountain. You can actually see that you're not too far below where like the tree line is in this area. And as you come down out of this into like the valley proper, you can see that this river that you've been running alongside is also cascading down. It ends into a beautiful little like lake there. And there is this town called Twist Junction. It is lively. There are lots and lots of people moving around, making preparations for the Feast of St. Justicia. Various banners and a stage is being built, and there's, I don't know, balloons and food being made. People are staking out their spots for when things get into swing the next day or two. When you get to that tree line, Thorane and Estelle both stop. And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna be right behind you. We just gotta finish up with the closing of the path itself. So we'll be not too far away, probably just a couple hours within the path, just double checking all these, making sure everything's ready, close the path, and then during the festival, we may even see you down in town. You guys gonna be good to go? I'm a little bit worried about letting a bunch of kids just wander off, but
Yeah, we do it all the time. It's all right.
I do what I want.
Kellen will point to the spell book on one side of his hip and the dagger on the other side of his hip and ask if they see a lot of children wizards walking around carrying daggers.
well, to be fair, I don't think I've ever met a child wizard before, so no, you got me there. Thanks. All of my expectations have been upended in one day, and I think that that's pretty fair for my life. I spend a lot of time stewing around in a bit of ignorance, and I got some things to think about.
If you want me to show you a spell as evidence of us being protected, I would be happy to. And one corner of his mouth will come up in a grin.
Oh, no.
I'll be honest, you said that a little bit like children of the corn style. I'm a little bit scared, and I don't know that I want to provoke any sort of magical occurrence. That, when I offered you healing and you said no, I thought that was like a pride thing, and now I'm realizing it may just be a competence thing, and I am a little bit terrified of you. In a good way, probably.
He will look kind of disappointed, and he'll be like, "That sounded like a no. Okay. Well, thanks for everything."
Sorry, if you really want to show me something, if you can provide it, like, it's not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt Estelle, because I will kill you, and it's not going to like mess up my barriers or anything, right? Other than that, yeah.
You saying that you would murder a child?
If you attack
like
my wife,
that.
I absolutely would.
Kellen,
This is just like that, Stan.
You're mostly an adult now, apparently.
Kellen will say, "Oh, it definitely wouldn't hurt either of you two," and then he's gonna look at the trees and then look at Otis and be like, "It's probably safer if we don't, though."
Wow.
All right. You know, I feel like there's a bit of divine intervention in the fact that you're not doing whatever you were planning. So I'm willing to roll with it.
So Michael is in mid drawing on the travels around this destination, and what he does, he kind of flips a page over to a new book, and then he just writes a big thank you in his drawing pad and presents him to them to see.
Oh, thank you, Micah.
He nods.
You. All right, you've been a wonderful guest. Guests, all of you, slowly turns to incorporate the rest of you guys instead of just Micah. And it's like, all right, like I said, we can't join you right now, but I hope that when we get out to the town for the festival, we'll see you there. You all have like, turns and look at Argus in particular, you all have money, right? Like, you're not going to like starve on the streets or anything. I mean, I don't carry much of it just based on the fact I don't need it, but like, probably spare you some silver if that's
We'll be fine.
all right.
Mira's like, oh, well, I mean, if you're offering.
I can feed you, rabbit. We'll be fine.
Hi, we'll be okay.
I'm
I
just
looks a
going
little
to take that as
disappointed.
mostly consensus and let you on your way. And if I find you starving in the street on 6th day, then, well, I'll fix you up then.
What's wrong with starving in the street?
I mean, more of us than not have experienced it sometime in our life. It's not something I want to go back to.
Me either.
Micah kind of turns his head to the side a bit when he makes that statement, and then he just writes down in the book, "Did you know this? I did not eat," and then he just presents it to him.
Well, you know, I'm starting to feel like a real bad protector now. I didn't know. Are you hungry? Because, like, I mean, we made the fruit, but if the fruit is something that you don't want,
he just doesn't eat.
He absorbs it through his skin.
What?
Micah turns his head and he's like,
Kellen will say somewhat uncertainly, "I think she's kidding."
I ain't never seen him use his mouth to eat.
He could be like a plant.
All right.
He looks so confused.
Oh,
Micah just
nice.
like a complete shot. He's just like, what?
Both of them take a quick look at you. One of them takes a medicine check on you. The other one is taking a perception check. I rolled 15s for both of them. So I think at about the same time, Estelle and Thorane both realize that you're not breathing and have a bit of a freak out about it, but like are trying to do it real chill because like they don't want to set off panic in this group. And then they kind of step aside a little bit. And you hear some whispering like, I don't know, man. If you don't breathe and you don't eat, like, is that?
He's like, you're like a little bug, Micah.
But they come back and they're like, well, I'm happy you're not hungry then. You are not hungry, right? Like, I get that maybe you don't need to eat, but maybe, I don't know, you want to eat? Like, I got an apple.
He shakes his head, no. He's
You drink? You need some water or something? Sunlight? I don't know what it is that you need, but like, I really am feeling very bad that I didn't notice that you didn't eat. Did the rest of you eat? And he's like really starting to get into like this role of like, no, wait, let me see like what provisions have been taken.
Mary
It's quite
feels mischievous and
obvious
just says that.
Mary, you didn't eat? Okay, all right, one second. They get together like a little knapsack for you, like a little, almost like a picnic basket, but it's drawn up in cloth of pretty much all of the food that they have on them right now. And they're like, all right.
Oh no!
While they're working on that, Kellen is gonna tap Micah.
Micah looks up.
Hey, Micah, I don't know what we're going to be walking into in this city and this festival and everything. Do you want me to show you the trick that I use to be ready for anything?
He nods. If you notice, he's not trying to speak because he's you all could probably tell he's relatively self-conscious of talking in front of strangers that's not in the school. So he's mostly just sticking to like body movements.
Dylan will take one of his arms and kind of hold on to that arm with his other arm and like from a bit of a distance kind of like circle around all of Micah, even though he's pretty short, just like passing around him in a circle, and it slowly gets faster and faster, and you all see the purple glow start to come around Micah of him using Gift of Alacrity. You gain a 1d8 bonus to initiative rolls for the next 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Micah looks at you, and there's like a big smile as he kind of like surrounds himself. And then he's about to speak, but then he turns back at the groups, and then he kind of just kind of like does a little thumbs up at you as his way of saying thank you.
He'll just kind of whisper, like it's just between the two of you, and now you're ready for anything.
He smiles, and then he kind of looks at you back, and then when he hears that statement, he kind of like taps himself a bit, just like to test out like his movements. You know, when a kid guys like, you know, they just finished their first karate class, and they're just like, I can throw somebody 500 feet. That's kind of like what he kind of feels like after that moment. He's like, oh, let's check out the
The purple glow follows like slightly ahead of you, like tracing all of your movements.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a big smile on his face as he's noticing.
And that is such a cool visual of like not an after effect, but a fore effect where it's heading directly in front of where you. Oh, that's so cool.
It's really cool.
All right. Finally, Thoreen and Estelle allow you to leave after they applied you with as many goods as they could bear to part with. You do have a large bag of food. Some of it's like hardtack, some of it's fresh fruits and vegetables, some of it is caught fish. They have very conspicuously kept one bag back that you would guess is probably rabbit, but they're like, oh, we're not going to do that. But they give you that. They also give you 15 silver because that's all the money they had on them.
I'm on it.
Yeah. Who's keeping that one? Who's keeping that track?
Keeping track of the party funds, but who's holding it? I don't know.
It goes into the party's coffers. It's fine.
All right.
I'm never going to say, oh, I'm sorry. That 15 silver was in Shy's pocket, so you can't use it.
Can't use it.
Speaking of, so as you leave them, you head into town. There's kind of like one main thoroughfare that hits like this weird dippy road that kind of curves back around in like a parabola shape. You imagine that's probably how this town got its name, this junction, because it's a weird junction in which like it's almost like it's a tangent to this parabola. It's very strange. And then a little bit later, there's like one other major road that intersects perpendicular. Other than that, it's a bunch of small places, towns. You see a couple like inns. There's lots and lots of like restaurants and like individual tailors. Like it doesn't look like there's any large business here, but it does look like everyone's doing pretty well because this is one of the only places on this trade route, and it's got the intersection of several different larger roads. So maybe they get quite a bit of foot traffic or wagon traffic, as the case may be. Micah.
Yes.
As you enter the town, you're walking in, and this this ball rolls into your path. And following that ball is a young boy that looks like maybe just a little bit younger than you, like maybe around the age of 6-ish. And he is hurtling following this ball and does not see you in time to avoid absolutely colliding with you. So you are mildly hit by this ball, and then you are fully hit by this child who comes barreling at you. Go ahead and make me a quick dex save to see if you remain on your feet.
Okay.
You got a sturdy kid. I don't know.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't hear what your roll was.
11, sorry.
11. I'm going to say that 11 is just enough that it doesn't like knock you down, but it does knock you back a little bit. So you end up bumping back into Kellen, who was following you. So you kind of like end up with this weird dominoes kind of effect where all of you end up stopped in the middle of the street because of the one boy and his ball. And he looks up at you and he's like, sorry. I lost my ball, so I was just following my ball.
Oh, he's got a list. That's adorable.
I was just trying because it's the festival, and I wanted to make sure that I was ready. And my mom always tells me, it's Tisha's festival, but my mom always tells me it's not okay for fighting. So I'm sorry.
Oh, no. He kind of looks at the group first, and he takes a deep breath. He says, no worries.
Oh, awesome. I think it's really cool that you're not worrying or whatever. You want to play?
Helen will say, go ahead, Micah.
Do what you want, kid.
Play?
Well, I have a ball, so I was pretending that it was like a horse, and then we were going to be like Tisha coming over the mountain or whatever. I don't know exactly, but I was trying to be a hero. So
What is that?
a horse? Well, they got 4 legs, and they can be really fast.
Oh, horse.
Yeah.
Just like him.
Oh, that was such a hard sentence to get out. Yeah, so I don't have a wheel horse, so instead I just have my ball, and it's kind of like I just hold the ball like I was riding a horse.
What? How play? What?
Well, if we're heroes, then we have to fight the villains. But my mom says not to fight, so I'm not fighting any villains, and also I don't know any villains. So I've just been riding around and being Tisha Billy. I don't know.
Oh, tree is villain.
Oh, I know a lot of bad tweets. If you want to find a bad tweet, I can take you to a bad tweet, and then we'll fight. Well, we won't fight. We'll win, though, because we're heroes.
Oh, this is like, you got a bad tree. Maybe he needs to start talking to.
Oh, no.
Taking it completely serious.
Hello, Scary Man. I don't understand. I guess you're like my mama, and you say that you shouldn't be fighting and you should talk instead, and almost everything is okay if you are talking. But the tweet never talked to me, so.
Trees talk all the time. And then he looks over at his party, just like, I understand this kid. Doesn't he know trees talk?
Also, you're really pretty. She says, looking up at Mary. You're really pretty. I like what he is. They're very nice.
Oh, thank you. And she just kind of.
Oh, they even move and stuff. That's really cool. Are you a hero? You wanna be a hero with me? We can go fight the bad tweet or whatever. I don't understand, but I do it. Well, not fight, because mom says not fight.
You know what? You can do whatever you want.
Well, I'm gonna listen to my mom because she's pretty smart, and she knows a lot of stuff. She's really cool. But I guess if I can't fight, maybe you can fight.
Show me tree. And then you see his third eye starts to open up,
Oh no!
You brought a nuclear bomb to a game.
I was going to say, I think Micah's about to misunderstand the assignment here.
200%. 200%. He's just like, oh, this tree's about to get destroyed.
He's like, wait, kid, we got to negotiate first. Maybe he's misunderstood.
He leads you, and as he starts leading you away, who else going with the kid?
Oh, this is definitely going.
Yeah, we're going.
Oh, yeah, Mike,
Yeah, everybody.
Okay, excellent. As you're walking in, he says, "My name is Gwantic. Some people call me Gwan, but that in Not Child that would be Grantic with an R.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Grantic.
He
Gwan
has trouble
taking
with
the
his
building.
R's. So my name is Gwantic, and yeah, where are you from? Because I never seen like a person like you before. And looking at Miri, and I certainly haven't seen a person with wings. Looking at Shy, and like immediately Shy has become his new focal point. I think he forgets about the tree for a little bit as he realizes fairies are real, and like not only real but right there. He's like, I have a ball if you want to play with the ball, Miss Fairy Lady.
I would be more than happy to play with the ball with you and heal you from the tree. Every good hero needs a healer.
This is the best day ever.
Miri will like playfully like cross her arms like men.
Hey, you can play with the ball too. We all play. It's fine. I didn't really have other people to play with, so it's really I have like 6, 7, 8 people. I got lots of people to play with now. That's so cool. Let's go fight the tweez, or not fight the tweez, mama. Not fight the tweez.
How far off the path are we currently?
You kind of just come into like the main thoroughfare, so you're cutting past like some sparse buildings. You're not quite into like the main like downtown area yet, so you're not having to deal with too many people. But it's a clearing that you're heading into, so you can still see the town really easily. In fact, you're heading up a little bit, so you've got a better vantage point.
Are we heading like towards like Scary Forest though?
You're heading towards forest, but I don't think any of you would qualify as scary. This is not along the path, and this is not like the dense forest that you came through earlier. This is spread out copse of trees, and I think as you get to the edge, Glentic's like, okay, so I can't go into the forest, but this is a tree, so this could be our bad tree, and then we are winning by being heroes with the bad tree. And also, they have apple trees, so if you find one, let me know so I can get an apple. Sometimes they're too tall for me, though, so maybe you can help me.
Looking for an apple tree.
Immediately next quest, find an apple tree.
So Micah looks at the tree. I'm wondering, would he just attack?
I mean, Otis did caution you. He said, let me try to negotiate.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So he's going to...
Anyone who would like can choose to make either perception or nature, depending on what you're trying to figure out. If you're looking for bad guys, pick perception. If you're looking for information about like apples and such, pick nature.
Yeah, perception. Because I'm like... Because he still thinks this is like the evil tree that he first came across. So he's like...
Otis will also roll perception.
Owen is looking for actual bad guys because they have a very, very squishy child in their care right now.
Right.
And that's
One can argue.
That's a natural 20. So if they're
Oh, same, dog. We both got net 20.
Just let me know.
We both got net 20.
Let's see.
Sorry,
I'm
did
looking
everyone
for
just roll
apples.
super well?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. This must be one of those good those.
I got
Okay, let's start.
13. Looking for
Let's
apples.
start with our perception. I think Shy, were you the only one doing nature? Or Shy and Mary, you were doing nature?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone else for our perception, since we got 2 natural 20s, let's resolve that first. You look around. You do not see any signs of the corruption that you like palpably felt. I think Otis, you in particular, because you know what nature's supposed to look like this looks legit. This looks like what you would expect a grove near a clearing in this biome to look like. Kellen, as you look around, you don't see any signs of any like movement that is unusual for the area, like people who are coming and going, doing anything. Because you got a natural 20, I'll say like I'll add in like a free Arcana check because I think that makes sense. You look around, you don't see any runes, you don't see any.
19 Arcana.
Dang! Yeah.
That's actually a low roll. That was a 9. I have 10 Arcana.
Holy crap.
Oh,
Wow.
But yeah, 19.
Okay, you see no signs of magical influence from an arcane nature in this area at all. And Otis, you don't see any weird nature stuff. You don't see anything that looks to be corrupting. You don't see anything that looks like it's not growing well for the area. Like, you've experienced patches of like bad growth or that kind of thing. You're not seeing anything like that either.
Yeah,
So both of you, I would say together, are feeling pretty confident that at least this area of the woods is completely normal and this child has a very active imagination.
Yeah,
Micah,
okay.
what did you roll?
Oh, I got a 24.
Okay, yeah, I think that like, especially with the other two, like going through kind of as they noticeably relax, I think that you realize simultaneously, like, okay, we know bad trees. This is not what I was expecting to find here.
Yeah, but now he's confused. So he's pointing at the tree. He says, not bad tree. Normal tree.
Well,
Well, Grantic, every hero needs a weapon, and then he's going to point down at the ball. Is that going to be your weapon?
oh, it was my horse, but now it could be my weapon.
Mhm.
Oh, what kind of weapon do you? Well, I don't want to fight, but I want to win. I want to be a hero. What kind of weapon can I have that won't kill anybody? Because I want to make sure everyone is safe, even the bad twee, because maybe they could be good twees. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Club?
Okay, I have a club now.
Micah is so confused. He doesn't understand like imagination and like something. He's just like, what is happening? Like in blue screen of death as he's staring at in front of this. He's just completely confused.
Does it show on Micah's face?
Yeah, you could definitely see his head kind of like turn to the side because when he says that like the ball is the horse, he keeps looking at the ball. And like he's like staring at it, like expecting for it to turn into a horse. And when it does it, he's just like, wait, so this is not a magic ball? Like, why is he calling it a horse? Like, again, he's very confused about all of this.
Well, Otis is starting to catch on, so he'll point at Micah and go, "What's wrong, kid?"
Confused.
Using his ring of message.
Confused.
Oh, this is a message. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess you spot back. Confused. That's ball. That's not horse. Not magic ball. Just ball. Why call horse?
Well, Otis will point at Micah again. You go like, "Well, do you know about imagination?"
No. What's that?
And Otis will point at him again and say, "Watch this." And then he'll turn to Grantix and they'll say, "Hey, kid."
Hello, Mr. Skelly Man.
I'm scared.
As you turn, you realize that like because you carry a quarterstaff, he's decided that his ball must be like what you carry. So as you've been pointing at Micah, he has similarly been pointing at the tree as if it will do something. He doesn't understand what you're doing. He just sees you pointing and is copying that movement.
I love it.
Helen will lean down. He'll say, "No, Grantic, if you want the tree to know that you're a hero, you have to pass the ball to it."
Oh, okay. Like throw it? Or do I just touch it?
Like this. And he mimes throwing the ball.
He immediately throws the ball. And I think this is probably happening at roughly the same time Otis is calling for his attention. So I'm going to say Let me roll with disadvantage to see if he gets anywhere near the tree.
If only I
Look
could
like
bless the poor baby.
Oh man, I rolled a natural 20 on one and an 8 on the other.
Kellen will ready an action to grab the ball with Mage Hand if it starts
Nice.
wandering away.
Very nice. So yeah, it's not a very graceful throw. It's definitely not going to hit this tree. It's going to go sailing past into the woods, and you can see on his face like this panic of like, oh no, I can't go get my ball if it goes into the woods. What do I do? And then your Mage Hand does what?
He's just going to try to grab the ball and then gently move to bring it back to Grantic.
Oh wow! How did the ball come to me? I never had a ball come back to me before. I always throw it and then I gotta walk over there and get it, and then I throw it back to myself, and then I gotta walk back to where I was. And so now I threw the ball and then it was just back in my hand. I don't understand.
Can he see the Mage Hand, or is that something where people who aren't aware of Arcane won't actually be able to see it?
Do you want him to be able to see it?
Yeah, he's not trying to hide it.
I think in the text of Mage Hand it says it's invisible.
Does it? I thought we were talking about how they were like purple and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is
For
true.
the purposes
Cool.
of
Yeah,
for
we
the
can let it-
purposes
we
of
can let
our
it.
game.
Cool. We'll say it's translucent and purple. And also, I never seen a floating hand before, so that's new. Is it the Twee's hand? Because if it is, then maybe it is a bad tweet, or maybe it's a really good tweet. And he looks up at Shy and is like, maybe it's a fairy tweet. Do you have tweets like this in your home?
Nay, where I come from.
Oh,
It's magic, Grantic.
oh, okay. Wait, I thought fairies were magic.
We are.
Oh, so it is a fairy tweet. Awesome. I got fairy tweet, and then I threw the ball. Like he's telling, he's like turns to Otis because Otis has called him, and is now telling Otis everything he just witnessed himself with his own eyes. It's like I threw the ball at the magic tweet like a fairy, and then it came back to me like a fairy with the magic hand. Yes, Mr. Skelly Man.
He was gonna hold back his knee-jerk reaction while the kid was going through that. He's gonna be like, okay, kid, so if you could fight any tree, what would it look like?
Oh, well, see, I'm not supposed to fight it, but I thought about one time, what if there was a really big birdhouse? Like, you know what a birdhouse is? Where it's like, it's the place where the birds live, but not all the time. Some of them live in nests. It's more like the place where birds live if you make it for them.
Otis is like, I definitely know about birdhouses.
Okay. Well, a big one of those, I think, would be scary, but also maybe really cool because maybe there are really big birds.
And then he goes, you mean big birds like this? And then Otis is going to cast Minor Illusion
Ooh.
and create like just an imaginary 5-foot bird illusion.
Yes. Yeah. He immediately tries to hug it. He goes over and tries to hug it. And he's like, oh, it's a magic bird. It's not. It's. Oh, can I fly with the magic bird? Can the magic bird fly?
No, the magic bird can't fight. But then he points to Micah and he goes like, you see that? You ever seen a bird like that before?
No.
Well, that's Otis pointing to Micah and like sending that with message to Micah.
Oh. Again, you notice that Grantic immediately is pointing at Micah now. Like, he's mocking. Like, it's just like he's copying literally everything that you do.
Micah shakes his head. He's like, "No, that's me. Minor illusion."
Well, I've never seen a bird like that before either. So how'd I make one?
What?
Yeah, Otis has created a fictitious bird out of his imagination with Minor Illusion.
You never saw this bird?
Mr.
Otis
Skelly,
shakes
do
his
we have
head
to
no.
stand here to keep the bird here, or can I move now?
You can move, kid.
Okay, I'm gonna go play with the magic hand for a little bit, and then I'll play with the bird. Okay?
Okay.
And he goes back to the tree and immediately starts to throw the ball again at the tree.
I love Granted.
We'll go to try to catch it if he misses.
Oh yeah, he misses badly.
Oh no!
It's all right. He's training.
He's overexcited now, so he's just like he's doing like really big body movements that have very little coordination.
I just imagine him like trying to throw it and just like throwing it straight up in the air or something.
Oh yeah. That is an accurate mental representation of what is happening.
While they do this, he's gonna ask, "Hey, Grantic, you live in this village, right?"
I don't know what your name is, and that is maybe that you'll explain to, but then you play with me. I don't know, but I told you my name, so it's probably okay, right? We're
My name?
We're friends.
My name's Kellen, and
Oh,
this
hello,
is
Kellen.
Otis
Hi, Otis.
and Miri
Hello.
and Shy.
Hello, fairy lady. And Micah.
And
Michael was my friend first, so
Question, DM: is Zombie Ardris with us right now?
Zombie Ardris has decided that this is not worth his time and is going to go procure a room at the inn for everyone to stay at, or a couple rooms.
I
That's
thought it would have been funny. He's like
fully
just
been
standing there.
I think he lasted until about when the mage hand patch started, and he was just like, "Nah, this is not. No,
I'm not the one.
I would do an Ardris accent, but I can't." So, but I think we can all pretty well hear in his head what he just said. Hear in our own heads what he just said. So, yeah, he took off back to the town to find you.
Okay.
Well, do you want me to go introduce you to like my mom, or I can show you where the games will be, and I can show you the festival stuff. Maybe we can even get one of those little pies.
Oh, this
We can
perks up in
definitely do
Dimension
that.
5.
A pie.
But
Yeah,
I think
they're like little pies that you hold in your hands. They got a name like empanada.
You're wrong for that, Aaron.
Granted can't pronounce his own name correctly. He's certainly not going to get empanada.
But I think maybe it would be good if we went back to the town and met your mom first.
Okay. Yeah. What do heroes say when they are finished being a hero so that they are good heroes?
Well, I think you need a catchphrase.
Oh, like you catch a ball. You can catch a place.
Mhm.
That's pretty strong.
I love he's taking it literally.
That is strong. I would
love
keep
it.
that.
They don't know how to catch a face, but I want to, because I want to be a really good hero, and then everyone will be safe, and then we'll have good adventures.
Well, why don't you think
How
about
about
this? You
a
have to come up with a
catchphrase?
really good one.
Well, normally heroes are a hero for somebody. Is there someone that you're trying to be a hero for?
For my mama.
So say, that was for my mom.
That was for my mama. Is that it? Did I do it right?
Yeah, exactly
Awesome.
right.
So cool. All right, let's go meet my mama then. But maybe you don't tell her that I fought. You can tell her I was a hero, though. That's okay.
Did you want to try to find some apples?
Yes. Did you find some apples? Not too far from where you were, because you rolled really well as well, correct? That nature check. Not too far from where you were. There is like a little planted grove. Like it's clearly been added here by the community. It's not like a natural feature. But yeah, there's plenty of apples. You could grab a bushel of them if you wanted. You don't know who they belong to, but they exist.
I'll grab as many as I can with my little tiny fairy hands.
So two.
I was going to say she can only
Maybe just
do
one.
like two.
I'll give you two for funsies. You grab two apples.
We can just tell your ma that we were out gathering apples.
Oh, that's so cool that you can fly, because then you just went and you got the apples and you didn't have to be tall. So I have to be really tall and I'm not. And so then I gotta ask somebody for help.
I'm gonna use the magic tree hand to grab an apple as well.
Oh my gosh, the Twee also wants out. Wait, can Tweez eat apples? I thought, is that cannibalism?
Oh.
It takes a long time, but trees can eat apples.
Well, I mean, trees eat a lot of different things, and the berries are
I think that as this conversation winds down, you're heading back into town with your 2 illicit apples and a newly formed hero. Let's go ahead and take a break here before we go to the next part.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. So, of course, thank you, of course, for coming by to the stream. If you like what you see here, you can definitely talk about our campaign. You can add our Discord, which you'll see in the chat below. There we have a section for spoilers as well as for non-spoilers, fan art. And if you have any questions or want to talk about the campaign, we would love to hear your voice there. We'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes for the second half of Season 2, Episode 2, Rivenwood Academy. Farewell for now. All right, and we are now back for the second half. So with that said, Aaron, take it away.
So Grantic leads you back into the town, and as you're getting in, like there's kind of like there's the main thoroughfare that's got like more of the street of the shops and the inns and that kind of thing, and then surrounding that is houses in kind of a haphazard kind of way. It's not laid out in like a nice city grid system or something. It's just kind of like warehouses were made back in the day. They have remained around as this town has become a hub of travel. So you don't have to go very far into it. You're not actually back to the main road. When you hear coming out of like the backyard of one of these houses, this voice that says, Grantic Gerana Marquette, you had better be back here. And Grantic immediately is like, oh, that's my mama. Come on. And he begins to run towards the back. And as he gets there, you can hear like, Grantic, what did I tell you about? And then she sees the rest of you and is like, hello?
Kellen, being well aware of how strange this probably appears from an outside perspective, will say, Grantic made a friend, and then point directly at Micah.
Ah. Hello. I don't think I've ever seen any of you around here.
We just came into town.
Yeah. We're here for the festival. We just finished traveling past what were they called again? The Pathkeepers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Through the path that the Pathkeepers have tended to.
All right. So you know Therain and Estelle.
We did, yeah. We met them.
All right.
Oh,
well,
boy.
that seems fine.
Okay.
That's perfectly normal that a whole bunch of strangers came and they're not hanging out with my kid. Yeah, cool. You rolled real bad.
Oh, poor lady.
Well, in
welcome.
her defense, it does help when it's like, oh, like Grantic made a friend with this other child that's
Right.
clearly accompanying
I mean,
us.
you are
Yeah.
young. It's not like you're a whole bunch of adults who have made friends with a 6-year-old. So
Good thing ours just left.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, all right, well, welcome to town. Glad you're here to see the festival. Where's your folks? And she turns to Micah as she says that.
Micah definitely looks down at the ground at that statement. And for those who don't know, the drawing that he was working on when he had that sketch was actually a picture of his mom working in the office with like a little lamp on top of it, top of one side, and like notes on the table. And so that's what she was actually working on during the time frame. And so he kind of like holds like the book against his chest. And I think from that he's going to kind of like step back a bit and kind of like step to the side. I think he might. Yeah, I think he might walk away from that.
All right. You see her face falls in kind of immediate recognition that she has hit a sore subject unintentionally. And she gets a little blustery for the rest of you. It's like, well, I hope you enjoyed the festival. If you need something, as Michael wonders, wait, your little brother going to be okay? And she's looking at Gellin when she says that.
I hope so.
All right, well, you guys are welcome at the Marquette House if you need something.
Of course. Thank you so much. We will get out of your hair for now. But I'm very glad that Grantic and Micah got to meet.
Yeah, Grantic doesn't have there's not a lot of kids his age right now, so I'm sure it's been good for him. And she goes to ask a question and immediately checks herself. Is like, all right, none of you, actually, Kellen, no one else here has any wounds, except you.
Oh,
I haven't healed from the sleep. Or are you saying like clearly non-mended healing on their own damage?
Right, you have healed like as far as your HP, you're fine. Like you're not in any damage. But when that tree like pinned you to the ground, it was aiming for your chest, and it was your left hand got like pinned in between you and it. And the way that those roots sliced clearly had the poison on it. So while you are no longer poisoned and like your HP is fine, you do have like a wound that is like in that weird itchy scarring kind of phase.
Yeah.
On the back of your left hand. And I think she notices that as kind of she was going to say everyone's all right. And then it's kind of like, you are all okay, right?
Well, Miss Marquette, the forest can be very dangerous when you are off the path.
Especially when you talk to the wrong tree.
When there's evil trees around, they do these kinds of things.
I'm going to take your word for that and say, I know some people, if you need like a healer or something, I know it's not cheap, but I could help you out with that.
That's all right. It's a learning process.
That's disturbing. But you know that learning shouldn't be connected to like pain, right? Like learning's about opportunity.
Of course.
Exploration. Okay. It's just she gives you a real long once over to see like I think she's basically checking you for signs of abuse. Like you've given her like oh yeah, I learned through pain, it's all good. And like as a mom, she's reacting very, very negatively to that because she thinks you're Micah's older brother and Micah's clearly going through it. So she gives you a look over and is like, all right, well, how about y'all come over for lunch tomorrow? I'll make a lunch for everyone. Micah, I think that's what you said his name was. They can play with Frantic.
That sounds good to me. And he'll like look at everyone else for confirmation.
It's free
And, like,
food. I ain't
she
gonna say
remembers
no.
that everyone else exists and also kind of like gestures to the rest of you to be like, you're all invited.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. There's
We'll see you then.
5 of you, right?
Oh yeah, Ardris isn't with us, so we'll...
Yeah.
Not with you.
He'll say there will be one more with us tomorrow. An elf.
Oh, not common in these parts, so that should be interesting. Of course, a lot of you are not common in these parts. Takes a look at Shy, takes a look at Mary.
True, but he is very polite, and he will nod at everyone else knowingly.
You're going to enjoy him. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting an elf. I think.
Okay.
And then if she doesn't say anything else, Kellen will kind of lead them all away. Has Micah been walking away at this point, or did he just like walk out of view of the woman?
I think Micah walked away to find himself a tree. He was trying to find a tree close by because I think what he feels more comfortable is when he's doing a repetitive motion over and over again, because that's when that particular type of nature comes out more naturally. And so what he would try to do is he would try to find a tree close by, bring out the sketchbook, and then just pretty much like going through the motions of drawing on that image per se and channeling all the underneath concern and issues and stuff like that into that drawing.
I'll say you don't have to wander very far to find like just a standing tree. So you're probably out of sight, but not out of hearing of the rest of the group.
Yeah.
So Kellen will lead the group to go catch up with him, and he'll say, "Hey, Micah.
Yes.
I need to go clothes shopping. Are you going to come with us?"
He kind of looks at the drawer real quick. He'll do a little erasing around the hand section, and he kind of like stares at it because he realizes he's not really getting the perspective down right. And then as he kind of like takes a side, kind of looks up, he says, "Oh, okay." And then he kind of puts the drawer back up, put his sketchbook back to his backpack, and put his backpack on his shoulders.
You want to finish first, Micah?
No, take time. Take time.
Okay.
Micah, is this the first time you've been away from your ma?
Second. Yeah. Did it see mother at school? Left before seeing if she okay. So I'm no hero.
Yeah, you are a hero. Regardless, though, I believe your ma is doing just fine. If you ever need to talk about it, I haven't seen my parents for a few years, so I can always lend an ear.
And being a hero's overrated.
He likes heroes, and then he'll present like this necklace that he has on that his mother gave him, and then as he kind of like pulls it to the side, you see this manuscript appears of Oh crap! Oh, it's the series name. Pretty much like their version of Harry Potter. And
Exotic Quincy and the Quest for the Grail.
Ooh, wow, you are fantastic. We'll go ahead and write that down. Exotic Quincy.
In the quest for the Grail.
Mm-hmm.
And so you and if you all are familiar with the series, I'm not sure I can't say for your characters. You can definitely tell this manuscript is like not even fully finished. Like it's like papers placed together, stashed together in like this cover section. And as you present his voices, hero, here. Well, my mother. Sounds like me.
That's a story about a hero, Micah. But there are people just like you and me that are heroes every day. It's more about the choices that you make.
He kind of turns his head to the side when he tries to understand that concept. He says, "What mean? What do you mean?"
Well,
Oh, you go ahead.
heroes are people who do things that are heroic, like being brave and facing down that tree like you did.
Oh, so mother leaving he is choices with leaving mother.
That was someone's choice, but it wasn't hers, and it definitely wasn't yours. And we're going to figure out whoever made that choice.
Otis is pointedly not weighing in on this part of the conversation.
We'll find them.
He nods. Keep it secret. He may be mad. And you'll point to the house. Because of course he was all about like believing like, you know, his being a hero was to protect his mom. And so he's just like, well, I'm not really don't really fit that that mold per se. And so he's just like, keep secret.
You know, Micah, even though you might not see it, I think Grantic sees it. It's probably why he likes you.
Oh. Okay. He kind of like scratches against his cheeks as he tries to ponders about that. And then when he looks up, he says, Tell. Okay, should I tell what happened?
Well, that's up to you, Micah, and you have until lunch tomorrow to decide. You don't have to figure it out now.
He nods. Okay. Close? You want it close?
Yeah, he'll point at the marking on his chest, and he's like, I think we should get this covered up before we scare all of the townspeople.
Yeah, so like your hand, like the back of your hand has like the wound that you can see, but your clothes they're not ripped as much as they're like, you know when you rub against the fabric enough that you get like those little like pellets kind of? Mm-hmm. It's like that, but in a very like wound looking like shape in the center of the chest. You know what I mean? Where like it's clear that this area has gotten damage. So you guys are moving into the town?
Yes.
Yeah,
so I just had a quick question. So if she reacted to that, because I'm not sure, but Yeah, as you know, Micah's entire left side of the face is scarred, like burned from. That's why his hair doesn't grow on the left-hand side. If you look at the image, like the picture itself, those are burns all across Stalin's hands. So is it kind of like that ordeal, or is it a bit different?
You mean on Kellen?
Yeah.
They're not burns. It's more like he's got one large like gash that hasn't fully healed. It looks like it's probably going to scar a little bit because of the poison.
Gotcha.
And then like his clothes are just I can't think of the word for it.
They're like threadbare. Like, you know, when you have a pair of jeans that you've worn that same pair of jeans for like years.
Oh,
and it gets and then like the exactly like
awesome.
that.
That's a great way to mentally picture it. So like it's clear that he has taken some sort of like damage or wear and tear, and that's why he's looking for it. As you enter into the center of the city, like you said, not a huge town, but very very busy right now.
Kellen will kind of keep his hands in his pockets, and he's looking for like a tailor or a clothier they could buy like a new shirt and some gloves from.
All right. I will let everyone make me a quick perception check to see what you see in the town center. Shy, I'm also wanting a new one from you, and I'm going to be sending you a message here in a moment.
All right, here we go.
Please, someone else find a clothes shop.
Got a luck from me.
23.
17.
I got an 11 for that one.
13.
I got close to Miri and close to Otis. Otis got a 13. Miri got a 23. I got a 3. Full stop.
Nice.
Okay, Shy, I've just messaged you. Oh, well, our highest was Miri with 23?
23, yeah.
When I say yes.
Okay. You do see like there's a tailor that looks to be of like fine goods, like formal wear, that kind of stuff. And then a little bit further down with a 23, I'll say you catch like it's more of like a seamstress hut that does like lots of like mending and repairs and more casual wear.
Okay.
With a 23, I will say that you also see you're kind of picking out the makeup of this town, and it's mostly human and half-orc, but quite a few travelers coming through. So you see an occasional dwarf, an occasional rabbit folk, an occasional fairy. But one thing you do see, just because you rolled so high, is across the way, for a moment, your eyes meet the gaze of someone. Got the long fingers and ears of an elf, so clearly going to step out here. Long hair with kind of almost like a purplish sheen to it, wearing black clothing and a long, like dark green cloak. It looks black, but like when he moves, it's got almost like a dark green camo kind of look to it. And he meets your eyes like from a long ways away. And I'll say with a 23, it looks like he recognizes you. And he's beginning to make his way down the street towards you as you guys are moving up the street towards like where the tailor and the seamstress shop are.
Okay. She'll point out like the seamstress, be like, oh, there's like that one over there. There's like the fancy one over there. There's also a man that's coming towards us right now. He's kind of weird looking.
Oh.
As you look up, you see an elf heading towards you. It does look, in fact, heading towards you, not the general vicinity, moving with some purpose. I will say you don't see any injuries, but he is moving like he's a little bit injured, just kind of guarding himself a little bit, moving a little bit slow, but heading towards you.
Do you think it's a... Did you mention it was an elf?
She just said it was a creepy looking dude coming towards him.
Should we try to hide out in the clothing store over there?
I think he already like saw me, like our eyes like met, like it was like a thing.
That sounds like a romance novel more than like a creepy dude.
What's a romance novel?
Significantly older, so
I was about to
don't make
say,
this
like-
too creepy. He looks like he's like maybe mid to late 40s, early 50s, something like that.
The elf?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, like in terms of like relative
years.
Oh,
age.
wow.
Yeah.
Relatively.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. So he's like
relatively-
hundreds. He's hundreds of years
Mhm.
old.
Relatively middle-aged.
Okay.
Also, like, Aldous, you don't know what the romance novel is?
No, I didn't exactly get to read much.
Well, we got to find a bookstore soon.
Do you want to be hidden when he gets here, just in case he's looking for you or something?
I mean, I've never seen him before, but if you want to hide out, that's fine. Can always just scream, run, and kick. If need to be.
Okay. And Kellen will tap you on the shoulder and while holding his wand in his pocket and cast the invisibility spell on Miri.
Nice. Miri.
Well, she's like this creepy old guy's like staring at you. He's like, okay, well, maybe you shouldn't be here. We'll talk to him.
Miri, you are immediately invisible. Congratulations. Everyone else, it's about that time that this dude walks up. He's looking at all of you. And he turns to Kellen and says, well, you were not where I was expecting, which I guess I should have expected since I am not expecting any of this. Can we talk?
He starts like mentally tabulating in his head. He's like, okay, well, Ardris isn't here right now. Shai's kind of new to the group. Otis is himself. Miri's invisible. Micah is like 7. So yeah, I guess that this is on me to make this decision. And he's like, okay.
Awesome. Maybe this is more of a, I guess, private conversation would be the way to say it. Hey, Otis, can we go to like, I don't know, somewhere relatively chill?
Would Otis know anywhere particularly chill?
I mean, you could go back to like the clearing, like next to where the woods are. If you want to get away from the town, you could try and find Ardris at wherever inn he is. In terms of like where you are right now is particularly busy, so getting out of this area is probably going to be your best bet.
Well, Otis is going to look at Kellen as if to say, well, oh wait, shoot, he's got to ring a message. He can point at him. So Otis will point at him and be like, you sure you got this?
He just nods, kind of in sync with the message, but kind of tries to play it off a bit like he's talking to the guy while he's doing it. He's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Miri, even in her invisible says, are you going to kill him?
Oh, no, Miri, that would be like really stupid of me if I did. I'm kind of hoping to talk to all of you, actually.
Well, there's this clearing we could go to, but why do you know our names? Who even are you?
I didn't even know where I am.
I kind of didn't think I would need to introduce myself. I'm Jorhan, and that's where we're going to stop today.
What? Wait, I didn't recognize the dude?
You did not recognize him. He appears significantly older than the last time you saw him.
What is this? Okay.
I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was not ready for that. So, of course, thank you all again for coming by. Thank you, Aaron, for bringing in this fantastic story, as well as this wonderful cast. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap up for today. Again, if you like what you see here, join us at our Discord, and we would love to hear what your thoughts are about the campaign. And we will be back again for next Tuesday for episode 3 of Rivenwood Academy. Farewell for now.